Hello, everybody. Hopefully that you guys make it back. I seem to have had a small internet hiccup there, so I apologize for that. But it does seem that everything is back online now and working appropriately, I hope. Let me know out there if you see any issues or problems, or if there is anything. But it seems to be okay now. Fingers crossed. Sorry about that, everyone. But hopefully it's all back and ready. And so anyone who's out there who can see this, please let me know in the chat. Oh, good. Thanks, Bella Muerte. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what happened, but I restarted my modem and everything seems to be much better now. Great, so we're back at it then. We'll pick up right where we left off. So what we were doing is, yeah, we got all kinds of cool stuff done. We're going to start to do some incidental kind of things. We put in some awnings here on some of the buildings. We're going to add in all of the fun little decorative elements. So we're just going to be doing some barrels and whatnot. And we put a couple of these around, which I seem to have done possibly while not streaming, but that's all right. We'll get it all squared away here. And I'm going to grab some of these crates as well. And we'll just start to place these around. Yeah, we have barrels of fish. And maybe we'll do one that's on its side. That's a little bit too similar to the other one, so let's go back to this one. Be a little bit larger. We got some nice coils of rope here. We got to have things for people to trip over, right? Lots of things laying around, and here we have some nice. Got to have some old school lobster traps. You guys are not familiar. I am from Maine, so lobstering is kind of a big deal here. I had to put some of these in. We can do a little stack of them. Maybe over here. Some old broken ones. Add in all kinds of these cool elements, right? Barrels of fish, here you are. A little fish on the inside. And we actually have some like even piles of fish in one of the other art packs as well. Oh yeah, we can do some of those as well. I mean, if we go, if we just type in fish, you can see that we have piles of fish, and we have a whole underwater art pack as well. So we can do lots of different kind of elements here. So yeah, let's do a couple of these. I think what we'll do is we'll change the color of this a little bit. Maybe we'll do a couple of dead fish on the side here. Awesome. And we can add in, maybe we'll drop an anchor. Do one, let's do one that's a little bit of an angle here. Lean it up against the docks over here. And we can use some of these other crates as well. Yeah, let's put a lantern out here. Yes, I had a little bit of a hiccup with my internet apparently. So it seems to be quite well sorted now. Maybe we'll do a little bit of a larger. Well, that doesn't quite fit in that way, does it? Grab this lantern once again. We'll drop that right in there. All right, let's grab that boat again. Yeah, we can do a captain's wheel on its side, sticking out from the dock, for sure. Like maybe underneath it. The harbor master will certainly complain. There'll be hell to pay. I think I'll put this on the dock layer, actually. And what we can do is grab some of these traps and stuff and line them up on the inside here. It's kind of fun just to go through and look at all of the different elements. How about we put it like over here? And I'll drop it down in because here's where our docks are. I'll put it on the plants layer, maybe something like that. Maybe here. Yeah, we'll do it over there. And then we can do some like grunge over the top of it. Make it look like it's sat down in there. Maybe we'll do some dirt up over it. So it's sunken down in and yeah, we'll make it moldy and browner. I do indeed sometimes. So the question is do you duplicate? Yep. Yeah, I might, depending on how I want the shadows to be cast. The only downside for doing that, so this is kind of what they're talking about here. What Fantasy Grounds Academy is saying is that you can duplicate a layer, offset it, and then change its color value and then its opacity to create like a drop shadow. It works really well in certain circumstances, and especially when you have like water effects and stuff to disrupt it. I do it oftentimes. But where it's painted in these particular areas, like we could do one for all of the structured buildings. The only downside for it is there's no way to blur it out, so it's always going to have like a very crisp edge. Oftentimes, I like to do more ambient kind of shadows depending on the mood or what I'm trying to portray. But yeah, it's a really good technique. So here we have it in the docks area here, right? So I could paint in, and you can do it exactly the same way. You don't necessarily need to do it by duplicating the layer. So I can grab that boat again, for example. Make it the same size or thereabouts. And I can drop down the value here, maybe to something like this. And we can drop this down to something like that, right? And I can paint in an immediate little shadow here. And so let's maybe do it on the coastline level, and just so you can kind of see how that would work. And see, I can just paint in another element. And you can see when we have the water kind of interacting there, it can work really, really well to create a quick duplicate drop shadow of any element that you want to do. It would be even cooler if we could blur it a little bit, but we have no way to actually do that. In this particular instance, let's see if I can just get that shadow. In this particular instance, I think what I'm actually going to do is do a softer kind of shadow. So I'm going to stick with using this rounded element. And I can show you, you can do exactly the kind of same thing here. So let's go into our shadow painted layer and to grab this. And again, well, we want to make sure we have our stamp tool selected. And again, I'm going to drop it down to about the same kind of thing here. And we'll change this opacity to something like 100. Because there's an opacity setting already set for this particular element. And again, I'm going to make it a kind of an oblong shape. So let's do like 8. And we'll make this maybe like 3. So something like that. And what I'll actually do is a very similar kind of technique. Is I will do some stamps right along here. And you can see that I can create the same kind of feeling here, but in a blurred out state. And then I might even do one right along the edge of that to show that there's a little bit of a lip there. Probably need to accentuate that shadow there a bit as well. Oh yeah, next week we'll do the Unity Cemetery for Halloween for certain. Absolutely. Which we'll do, we've created this nice little, this is going to be, and we'll actually finish doing the decorations on this. This is going to be our temple. Here we have this nice fenced-in area. And we're going to build this out and do like a really cool kind of cemetery on the back side of it. So I'm not sure. What do you guys think? Should we do it attached to this in the same scale, or should we do a zoomed-in creation of the temple itself, just like a battle map of it at like this scale from like this size, and we can do the interior and the make it really spooky. I think that would be super fun. Maybe we'll do that. We'll see what you guys are thinking, or what you'd like to see. Yeah. Perfect. That's what we'll do. We'll do the interior of the temple and its grounds and a cool cemetery. Maybe we'll even do some crypt entrances, and we'll do like an underground crypt area with like coffins and the like. We'll do a multi-layer little adventure setting area. All right, let's get back into our objects area over here. We'll grab some of these trunks. Yeah, crypts. Doesn't that sound fun? Gonna add in a couple of these, and we're gonna do all of the shadows and whatnot for these. We'll just kind of do some haphazard placement of some stuff around here. Maybe we'll do one on top of these crates over here, or these empty containers. And let's go back. I think it's in the other one, the other coastal art package. And I think if I just type in trap, it'll come right up. And I'm gonna do a few in this ship as well. And let's do rope. And so what you can see is you can use some of these different elements, these different rope elements, kind of make what appears to be like piles of rope, whatnot. And I'm going to go back to the trap, and I'm going to put some of these on top here. So these should all be attached to like a ropes. And this will be like a fishing vessel. And in one of the art packages, I actually have a rope brush here. And we can draw in a little bit of a connection here. So let's grab this rope brush and we'll go back to our line. And we'll tie this in. We'll just... And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to start over here by the dock. And I'm just going to draw a little bit of a rope. We might even have a couple of ropes that connect here. Awesome. Let's make an adjustment over here real quick. Fix some of this. Okay. Now what we can do is I'm thinking, what do you guys think? Should this be like a lumber mill? What do you think the purpose of this water mill is? Do you think we should do some logs in the water, like floating down? Maybe they get trapped in here, and then they use the mill to refine the logs. What do you guys think? What would be the purpose of this water mill? You guys have any suggestions? Ooh, mussel shells. Yeah, we could actually do mussels on the rocks then. Oh yeah, that's kind of cool. I like that. An ulterior motive. If we go into our underwater art package, we can actually use some of the shells here. I think we could do even these are not very muscly, that's for sure. But we could do some shells and attach them up and around the rocks. Oh yeah, that's a really cool idea too. Yeah. Yeah, these are all great ideas. Hmm. Yeah, pigments is very cool. That's a big muscle. Yeah, let's see if we can kind of manipulate these and place them on the rocks in a way that kind of fits with that. Freshwater mussels. Yeah, I think that we can use these ones, even though this is more of an oyster. Arnold muscles. I'm going to actually make a new painting layer for this. We don't want it in structures, but we can put it maybe down in underneath. Maybe somewhere like this. And what we'll actually do is we'll just test it out here a little bit, and we'll add in some elements here. We can actually drop it down in under the water. Well, we wanted to do it above the coast though, but that way we'll get, if we paint it in under here, we'll get a little bit of those effects like that. And we can use some of these different variants here. And we'll stick these around. We can flip this, make it more appropriate depending on where we're trying to attach it here. And we'll layer these on top of each other here a bit. Again, we can flip them. We'll add some over here as well. Oh yes, the giant that it's like a giant, right? Because we made it kind of like a mound, right? Oh yeah, very cool. Yeah, maybe there's a cult in the town that worships the now dead giant. You gotta love cults in RPGs, right? Let's do some that are a little bit exposed here, open. Break up some of this color here a little bit. Very cool. And now what we can actually do is go into the layers panel. And what color do you think that these muscles should be? We could make them, maybe they have like a reddish hue to them. Purplish? Maybe a little bit darker than that. But not quite that extreme, right? Yeah, maybe something like this, a little bit more subtle. Yeah, yeah. You guys are really starting to put this together. I love it. What I'll do is we can add in, I'll actually add in, we'll actually rename this muscles. And we can add, we can do a whole bunch of different cool stuff with this as well. But we'll do, I'll add in some little shadows and whatnot. We'll give these a little bit of shape. But we can add in another effects layer. And we can drop this down in here. And let's make this a adjust colors. And we can increase, we can do let's blur that out a bit. Not quite so pink. Let's go the other direction, right? Let's make this back down to 50. And let's bring down the green. Maybe we'll want it to be like a deeper purple, something like this. And we can do little spots of it. Let's not blur it up quite so much. Oh yeah, we can make them glow if you wanted. Rather than make them solid kind of color, we can kind of just do like they have these little patches of pigment. And by doing it with an effects layer, I'll be able to adjust it independently of the color of them themselves. I think what I'll do is I'll go back and we can do a little bit of adjustment here with these. And I think what we'll do is we'll just make them a little bit darker all the way around here. And then we can adjust the, as you can see, we can adjust the effects layer independently of it. And we can make them lighter or darker. Yeah, something like this, where we have like these little splashes of color here. Maybe we'll just not make it too intrusive. And we can also make it more or less yeah, very cool. Much more natural looking. Oh yeah, maybe they could glow in the dark. So you get this eerie luminescence that comes from the water at nighttime. And that's why we have these lanterns all over town, right? Like we set up a whole bunch of different lanterns coming off of the buildings. And we could do lamp posts throughout. We could do a nighttime version of it where we have this like soft purple glow from things. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah, don't put them in the bedroom. Right. Uh-huh. And now I'm going to go into my shadow layer here. Oh, switch over to the painting tab. And let's drop this down again. And I'm going to come in and I'm just going to make sure that I have my stamp tool selected. We'll do some little shadows from these guys as well. Make them feel as though that they're attached to the rocks. Give them a little bit of shape. And if we wish, we could even layer on some different plants and whatnot growing up over, maybe algae. But yeah, that's very cool, like these giant mussels. Adds a cool element to these. I also wanted to do a little bit of shadow in these little recesses as well. While we're at it. And if anyone was not aware, this map will be available for free on the Forge. So once we get it all done, you guys will be able to get it and use it in your own games. It's going to be part of the all the stuff that we're putting together in conjunction with Dave's stream. And he's going to be building all of the NPCs and writing a lot of the storylines and whatnot. And let's do a little bit of shadow along these boats. Yes, that is correct. It is free, but it does require, it's only the metadata for the images. So no actual image information will be there. You will need the art subscription or to own the art packs that we use in order for it to function correctly. That is correct. And I should get used to making sure that everyone is aware of that. You can add in a little bit of shadow in these. But for $5 a month in the art subscription, it is well worth it. I cannot stress it enough. We have thousands of images we've already released and many, many more on the way. we released either a single large art package or 2 additional art packages every single month, oftentimes with a theme. Perfect. Oh, great, Randy. Yeah. So you'll be able to grab this and have it all for free to use. Nice little boathouse we have here. Look at our lovely little town. All right, let's, you know what I want to do? I'm just going to, it's killing me. We got to fade this out a little bit here. I'm just going to go into the ground texture. Let me grab this guy. And we'll drop down the opacity here a little bit. Excellent. All right. So the one last thing, we're getting close to the end, everyone. So is there any questions or is there anything that you need further kind of explanation on? Yes, that's correct, Spencer. And the one last thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to go into my structures. Here we have our docks, our objects, and then we have 2 other structures that we're going to be creating. I'm going to delete this outline and we're going to recreate this. I'm going to show you guys how I would do this. So we have 2 different elements that we're going to have to need to create here. And we're going to go into our tab over here, and I'll show you. It's very, very, very easy to do. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to duplicate these 2 elements here. And I'm actually going to put these on top, but I'm going to create a folder first. I'm going to call this outline. I'm going to drop this down in, I'm going to put it above my structure paintings first. And I'll show you why I'm going to do that. I'm going to drop these in here. And then I'm going to actually do all of the color adjustment just in my folder. So if I duplicate anything in here, as long as it's in this folder, it will adhere to it, I believe. So all I have to do is drop down all of these. I'm actually just going to type in. Let's just do 0, 0, and 0. And hit OK. And so here we have all of these different elements, all just sunk right down to black. Now there's some elements like these fences and like maybe these boats that I don't want to be included in the outline that I'm going to be creating or in here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go into these with my eraser. I'm going to go back into the painting area here. And I'm just going to erase out any element that I don't want in here. I'm going to jump back and forth between these 2. I think that I don't need this one. It looks like it's in this area. Yep. Fences, I believe, are in here. So it'll be very easy for me. Once I have this done, I'm just going to duplicate each one of these. You can see that this was done with a brush. And like these, we don't need these. I like to add in lines because it helps to identify elements that are important. I've just always been very drawn to the line-oriented art. There, I think that is, oh, we don't need this ship either. And I'm just gonna do a little quick once over to make sure all of that is good. Oh, here's a couple more that we want to get rid of. You see, this is the silhouette of all of the images that, oh, here we need to do this part. Excellent. So now all I have to do is zoom into one of these buildings, and now I'm going to take this and I'm going to drop it down in underneath. And I'm going to take both of these and I'm going to duplicate them 3 more times. I'm just going to do this once, twice. So I want to have 4 copies of these. And now I switch back into the layers area here. I'm going to hold down Control. Make sure that I have these 2 selected. Hold down Control. And then I'm just going to move these over and up. And I'm going to figure out what I want for a thickness. And I think something like this. And then I can grab these. I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to go down this time and over. And then I'll grab these and we'll go to the left and up. And we can zoom right in and make sure that these all line up appropriately. And then we do this. And this is going to make us a perfect line around everything that we have here. As you can see. Which means that even these strange shapes, where if we were to just enlarge an image behind it, this will make a perfect kind of thing. We might want to come in and get rid of the awnings, however. I don't really like how that is. But we can do some minor kind of adjustments as we progress here. But yeah, you see how great this little... And as we zoom out here, you can see that this just adds a bit of contrast. And we can do the same thing with our docks if we so need to. But that'll create a perfect line around anything that you create. You can see it even works with these kind of jagged creations. We still have to come in and blend in some of this stuff as well. Great. Our town of Unity is really starting to come together, and it is very, very cool. I'll show you guys one more thing that I like to do oftentimes before I sign off here. And please, if anyone has any questions, please throw it into chat and I will answer it before I head out. And I also will put in my work email if you guys have any questions, or if you run into any problems, or if there's anything that you'd like to see me cover in the stream. Or if there's something that you would like to show off, please send me an email. But so oftentimes while I'm working, I might want to make a backup copy of a map, or I might want to try to do some different things in it and go in a different direction. And I don't want to necessarily have any sort of repercussions on my original. So it's very easy to make a copy of it. All you have to do is grab your map as if you were going to drag and drop it somewhere else and drop it right into the same area, and it will make an exact copy of it. And this will have everything that you've done so far. And this is a great little bit of way for you to make a little bit of a backup copy, or maybe you want to go in and do some changes to it. Maybe you're thinking about adding something, but you're not quite sure. You can make a copy and go to town. I will oftentimes do that. And so we've got our regional map all finished for the area in which that we're going to be building all of these things. And so here we have our little town. We have it all set up with a little bit of a link in there. And here we are. I agree, Drake. I think that it is. And not only just a small amount of map making capabilities, but we have a full line of sight and lighting and the tools by which you can create maps in there is, I've never found another program that even compares. So it's not only a virtual tabletop, but it's a whole creation suite, which is just amazing. Great, everyone. Well, if there is no further questions, if no one has anything, here, let me throw in... here's my work email, and if you guys run into any problems, or if you have to reach out to me for any reason, please feel free. Thank you all so much for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. I'll be here most every Saturday. I start at around 3 p.m. Eastern time, and we run till just about 6. Yeah, for sure, Drake. I completely agree. Thanks, DJ Break Time. And we will see you all next time. Thanks again, everyone, and have a wonderful week.